Hello and welcome to a team update. It's George from Fantasy Take TV, and today we're going to do AFL Fantasy and just see how the team is shaping up post the first week of the practice games. So a few interesting ones in the practice games. I thought Jack Bowes was really good, so he's on my radar, and you got Gordon and Bruin with a fair bit of CBAs up, or forward eligible, but in the midfield. So those are a few that I'm keeping tabs on, but haven't thrown them in at the moment. So I want to see one more week of data for them. But third year playing fantasy, and I think we finished 300 last year. Started slow, but I think post bye we were pretty good with I think we had Connor Rosie and we jumped on Angus Brayshaw and stuff like that. So that went okay, but hopefully we can go better this year. So starting defense, so D1 for me is Jordan Dawson. I think we'll zoom in one. I just think he's a solid D1 candidate. I'm not too sure how to fill out the defense just yet, but out of all these options here, I think Doherty the most, but I can't afford him, and I think Dawson I think is the next best. He's looked really good this year in the preseason. It's still I think he's about 25 years of old, so maybe he can still improve a little bit. So big fan of him, and Crump supporter, so we'll enjoy watching him. The new captain. It does have a Finn McGuinness tag in round 6, unfortunately, so he might be a prime upgrade target in that period. So if I can, if Jack Bowes goes really well next game, then maybe I can go down to Bowes and free up some money for elsewhere, but we'll see. D2 will go with Nick Dacos. Heard mixed reports on how people saw Dacos's game. I think the main thing I saw was the work rate was really good, a little bit more midfield time, but also down back does the handball, gets the receive back, takes the kick in, goes for a run, and his outside game's really good. He's working really hard to get into space all the time, and I thought he got burnt a few times where he could have got even more ball. So I was happy enough with his performance, and he's in for me. So I think he can do in the 90s somewhere. So there's a little bit of upside there. High owned, so a bit protected, nearly 50%, so protected by ownership. D3 I think is a lock now. Elliot Yeo looks fantastic. Just looks powerful. He's got that weird stance where low center of gravity, penetrating kick is back. He's in for me, so not much to speak on Yeo. The next one I have, I think he's a bit of a pod, but I liked Jaden Hunt's game. I think played a halfback and wing. Just 379k, very cheap. If he was in the midfield or the forward line, I wouldn't pick him, but because of the defense, I'm not too sure how to fill it out. He's in, so priced at. Does that mean he's priced at 42? I think. I don't know if they count the year before. I think he can do 65 or 60. Which is a little bit upside, make a little bit of money, but he's one I want to get off the field. But I think he played more lockdown last year, and I don't know if he'll play lockdown this year or not. We'll see how he goes, but maybe a bit more free, getting a few handball receives and stuff like that. So, and West Coast defenders do like to score well, but I think they're trying to move the ball a bit quicker this year. So we'll see how he goes. One that I'm happy to drop. I did have McKenna here, but he was truly terrible, so I'm off him. But we'll give him another go. Next one I have is, I think, almost no-brainer pick, Charlie Constable. So with Weller out early, I think he plays round 1. And he scored quite well. Took kick-ins, bit of chip mark, and I don't know if he's the answer for them down back, but I think he's cheap enough where he'll score, and if he gets dropped early, you just trade him out. And he should make some sort of money, especially if he's on kick-ins. So he's in for me. And then the next 3 are just rookies. I've got Wilmot, so I think he's going to get a wing role. So maybe watching him, he wasn't super busy, but I think he can do 55. Is that enough? Maybe more. I think he can do 60. I don't know. So I got Wilmot. I think I got Chesser here on the bench. I don't know if he plays round 1, but he looked alright. And then I can't remember who I've got. I think I've got. Who cares? So this guy, I was just listening to the Traders podcast, I can't read that. Chincotta, whatever. Apparently he was okay. I didn't take much notice of him, but apparently he's might be ahead of Cowan, according to the Traders podcast. I think it was Riley Beveridge, but something we'll look at. So not too fussed about that, but hopefully we do get the rookies there. I think your Weedle is not worth paying for. He didn't look that good. And yeah, I don't think he's a fieldable option, but yeah, too much on the bench for me. So moving on to the midfield. So my M1, lots of options here, but I think I'll go with Jack Steele for now. I think it's out of Steele and Oliver. I'm not sure there's much upside in Oliver, but he just looks fantastic, and he's such a gun and a safe pick. But you know, I think Brayshaw might get a tag in round 1. I love Laird, but just so expensive. Turk's injured, Mills rolls iffy. I think yeah, Finn McGuinness round 1 there. Neil, no. So for me, that leaves it to Steele and Oliver, and you know, if they're fair priced, I'm okay with that. So I've got Jack Steele for now, and yeah, he looked okay. I think his contested work wasn't great in the first half, but I don't think you can take too much out of that sort of game. But he's trimmed down, so he's not that. He doesn't look like that mountain that he was a few years ago, like massive upper body. He's a little bit skinnier now, so. But he moved really well, and his outside game's okay. So, yeah, contested work should be better against, you know, Oliver Petrarca. Always going to be tough. And yeah, it didn't help that Marshall got smashed in the ruck, so that won't happen every week. So my M2, I've gone with Jack McRae for now. So I'm really unsure on this one. 103, but I thought in the intra club that he played really well. But the more promising thing was, they were trying, no wing time, they were trying a few other things on the wing. McLean didn't get much inside mid time, and I didn't like Daniel's inside mid games. I don't think that he'll get much time in there with all their players, but we'll see how that goes. So I think he's a little bit underpriced, but I'm not even, like, I'm expecting probably like 107, 108, not even 110, but we'll see. The next player is Bontempelli. Again, no Dunkley, so more mid-time. They've got a pretty settled forward line now, so, or maybe they have too many tools up there, so we're like, you know, your Bruce can't even get a game. So yeah, Bontempelli is in for me, so I think there's about 5 to 8 points of upside here. So I'm happy with Bont, and yeah, played through niggles and low CBAs last year, so he's in for me. That should go up and improve. And then my next player, we're going for a breakout, is Tom Green. So he's priced at 85, so I think he can push 100 or go 95 plus, and maybe that's not enough, I'm not sure, but I think I'm happy to ride this pick until maybe the last buy round where you trade him if the team is completed. So I don't think I think he'll need to be traded at some point, but I think yeah, he's underpriced because the CBAs will go up with no Taranto and no Hopper. M5, biggest lock in my team is Sam Berry. Oh my god, 150. His ownership's gone up. So yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Sam Berry play or heard about his preseason, but he's had a massive preseason and he looked unbelievable. He was everywhere, and all the good training reports that we've heard, I got to see with my own eyes the last few weeks. I think he's naturally underpriced because post-buy he did about, he's priced at, is it 85? 84. So I think post-buy he did low 90s. So yeah, already by default 7 points underpriced because he didn't get as many CBAs in the first half of the year. But yeah, I think a bit of natural improvement. I think the tackle, is it sustainable? I think he'll be 8 to 9 tackles, maybe even a little bit more a game still. Certainly look like that, and it's been that way his whole career. So even in juniors or high tackle count. So he's in for me. He looks unbelievable, and I'm very happy with that. So next player, I can't even remember. I think we're going 3 rookies here. So we're going Ashcroft. We're going Jinby in the midfield for now. And also Phillips. And then we'll just throw 2 rookies on the field, on the bench. So that'll be, Johnson's not going to play, I don't think, but we'll just, for argument's sake. So I think we need someone to pop up. I think one that might play is Noah Long, but he's not going to score anything. Let's just put him for now. But yeah, he's not going to make much money at all, but at least he's 200k and stuck on the bench. So yeah, I think Ashcroft and Phillips, you have to pick him, and then Jinby didn't play, but hearing good things about him, and he's very cheap, and yeah, his role might be good. So they're in for now. So that's my midfield lineup. So I've dropped Sheed and Warple. I think both are in a similar boat where I was not impressed with I was actually impressed with Warple's inside game, but his kicking was so bad. So you do wonder, does Sam Mitchell want to persist with that? Because they threw Day in there as well, but don't have, I think Cam McKenzie as well could come in. Didn't see him play. So I'm a little bit worried about Warple's job security, but I think he'll score okay. And then Sheed, I was really not impressed with Sheed. The CBAs were really, really good, but I think the game's gone past his type of midfielder where, you know, not overly quick, not overly tall. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with him. Didn't look like he offered much, to be honest, but give him another go. So, yeah, if the CBAs are good, he'll score, but I can see his CBAs dropping at some point during the year if he plays like that. So in the rucks, set and forget, Witts and Marshall. I think I'm pretty set on that, and that's not changing. And then we do have a rookie ruck in McAndrew who will play. So touch on McAndrew. So he is a replacement for, well, I think Laddams is playing injured, so he's going to play, but play through knee tendonitis. Hickey's out for a while. I'm not sure how long. It could be up from a month to up until the buys. And then Amadi and McLean apparently are on the injury list, so they've got no one and he has to play. So he might be stuck a bit more forward, depending on how much they want to split him with Laddams. But I did watch him. I thought he was competitive in the ruck, but his around the ground game, I didn't really see much, if any, of it. So I don't know if he's fieldable or not. Depends on his ruck time, but we'll see. Yeah, and then Marshall and Jared Witts. Witts was outstanding. I loved his game. He looked better than last year, but it was only a practice game. Just more aggressive, a little bit more around the ground stuff. And then Rowan, I think, is just still a lock. Got badly beaten by Grundy and Gawn, specifically Grundy, specifically Gawn rather. But yeah, he's around the ground game is still good. Still took a few marks around there. Took a nice intercept, so he's in for me. And then the forwards haven't changed at all, but a little bit worried on Cogs, copped a knock, but it should be okay. So yeah, gone these four. I think their CBAs should all go up, so pretty confident in all of them. Just slightly worried on Cogs's availability for round one, but just depends on how serious his knock is, but a knock doesn't sound serious, so we'll see how he goes. Just keep tabs on that. And then two rookies I have. So I don't have Sheasel. I've got Philippou because I can only afford that. And Chandler. So Sheasel was very good. I would like to get him in. I think I prefer Sheasel to Philippou just because Sheasel can play a little bit more up the ground and he might get a little bit of stoppage time and he can tackle. And he knows how to find the ball, but his role is never going to be super great for the entire game. So gone Philippou for now, who looks really good, but I think he'll be stuck forward. But yeah, just fillers that can make money, hopefully. And yeah, I'm not too sure. Like I'm totally off Miller now. I went a bit early on him. I think he's so poor defensively, and he's the third option down back. So I'm not sure that role actually sticks, despite the club hyping him up all the time. But yeah, a little bit worried about what that looks like long term. The other one, I don't have Toby McLean. I didn't love Toby McLean's role in the practice game or the intra-club, but a lot of wing time, a lot of forward time, but also a little bit of mid-time. So he's a watch. So I'd probably like to get McLean back if he does well next game. Just, yeah, the role was a bit all over the place, so not too sure. Yeah, for 400k. So, yeah, no real mid-prices here. Just Yo, basically. It's mostly Guns and Rookies team. And then we have Pedler on the bench, so yeah, not impressed with Pedler, to be honest. But yeah, would not put him anywhere near the field. Sam Sturt I've got, and Fergus Green. I don't know if Sam Sturt plays, but he played alright. Fergus Green's a lock on the bench, absolutely pick him, he's really good. Kicked nearly 80 goals in 25 VFL games across 2 years. And yeah, I think they really need him with no Gunston. So that's how the team's looking at the moment. I'm not too sure about D6. Can always throw Jinbi there. And yeah, F6 pretty weak as well. But I think everywhere else on the field, like probably, yeah, want to get Hunt off the field, want to get Jinbi off the field pretty early. But that's where we're at the moment. I think no Radicalia. I think he's too expensive for key defender. And that's pretty much it. So that's how the team lines up. 3k in the bank. So yeah, watching McLean, watching Tanner Bruin, watching Gordon, and watching Jack Bowes down back, and maybe Ed Richards. But I think Ed Richards unfortunately didn't get enough kick-ins with a Crozier now hanging back there. So Crozier's too expensive in this format. He's 500k, but might be an option in the other formats where he's cheaper. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. I think the next fantasy video will be team reveal. So that'll be about, I don't know, 10 days away or something. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the